Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Oneida Nation Live here. We're doing Oneida Live. And today is Tuesday, February 17th. It's warm and sunny out, beautiful day here. And because it's so nice, asked Art Skenandore from the Oneida Tribal School, the principal from the high school, to come on up and visit us today. Let us know what's going on in the school system. Art, are we confusing the trees? Are they getting a little confused with this beautiful weather that we have?
Well, I think at this point in time, I think there's a lot of discussion all the way across the Turtle Island relative to global warming. And we know that over the last 20 years, we've seen the impact of the seasons change. So when you look at the warm day to day, we look on it and say like, well, we should be out there tapping trees. But at the same time, we know that the frost is in the ground. And in the story of the maple tree, it says, Yawʌ๊kó, it says the water will push up. And that water is really the sap. And so we're looking towards the opportunity. We're getting ready. We're anxious. Our students are talking about it. We'll be out there probably as soon as next week to start looking at tapping trees and working in the woods. And through the whole month of March is one of the grandest times of our history as an Oneida Nation school system, because we enjoy, Yawʌ๊kó is gathering that sweet water and providing that opportunity for all of our families, Yawʌ๊kó, from the youngest to the oldest, to share in the great gifts that this creation gives us.
I didn't tell you I was going to ask this question, but do we wrap that, the way that we do things, that harvest, do we wrap that into the academic programs within the school?
Oh, most certainly. We look at, for example, some of the ways that we've approached the maple syrup, for example, is going all the way back into time when we used to have science fairs. We used to look and measure the glucose impact of maple syrup versus having regular table syrup that you would buy in a grocery store. Mm-hmm. And the properties of that completely are different. So that's some of the things on the science side that we look at in terms of what maple syrup represents. And also when you look at the ratios for math, for example, 30 to 40 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of syrup. And you look at those ratios, that also then provides that opportunity for us to think about and reflect on how grateful and thankful we are for collecting that sap, because we can make that powerful syrup that runs off of our pancake when we have our feast for those occasions.
And then how is that harvested? The staff go out and harvest it and then bring it in, and the students process it, or are the students part of the process?
Students are all part of the process. They're part of the tapping of the trees, gathering of the wood, providing the opportunity for cooking the syrup as well, from sap to syrup. And one of the other things that I wanted to make mention of is that this year, from a science perspective, we're also going to capitalize on the gravity flow of some of the hills in the back here. So we're going to use tubing for the first time. We're going to tap our trees, and we'll have the collection sites on the bottom of the hills, which will provide another learning opportunity for our students relative to gravity, relative to collecting and keeping our sap as clean as possible for making syrup. So they're involved in the entire process.
Let me see if I can visualize that. So when you say tubing, you're talking like maybe like a tube of straw will come out from the tree, and they'll all go to one collecting point?
Well, it's plastic tubing. We tap the tree. Sometimes some trees will be 2 taps, some trees might be 4 taps, and we run them to one common collecting site. So we might have a large bin on the bottom of the hill, and all that gravity flow of sap will run to that place. We've done some theorizing and looking at some other operations in different parts of the country, and we're encouraged that this is a natural site for gravity flow sap collection.
It is very hilly. I know the Norbert Hill Center Woods is probably one of the more, I don't know if the word is pristine, but untouched woods, that it's a small patch within the reservation that we still have our indigenous, plant life, the trees, the probably a lot of the fowl in the area. I know it's not uncommon to see an eagle here anymore.
Oh,
It used to be
absolutely.
very uncommon back when we were kids.
Right. And then one of the other things that we've been able to add to the woods, for example, is a phenology trail. That when the medicines come up in the springtime, we have a phenology trail that we have close to the trail going down to the back of the property that some of our students put together, which has Oneida language on it, has the plants and the plant uses. And again, it's another opportunity to look at and build upon the learning that comes from the natural world.
Now, this property originally was the Oneida Nation property, and the old Oneida boarding school was originally on this property. And at a point in time, Oneida lost the property, and a seminary was built by the Catholic diocese. And in the cycle of things, it came back to Oneida. And my understanding that it was supposed to be used for educational purposes for all time.
Well, there was a family that dedicated their allotment. It was a Dockstader family that dedicated their allotment for educational purposes. And that's at the foundation of our learning for our Oneida Civics class, for example, is the story of how that occurred and the evolution of that. And one of the ways that we continue that today is we have a project that we started with the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, which is a research project. And the title of that project is Whose Land Is It? And it's been an ongoing project because, again, research is not done in a semester, it's done over time. And so we've gathered information, we've collected interviews of elders and have those elders talk about their family stories of what we understand about the story of our land. And it really centralizes around this particular site because of the educational purposes that was created back by that time. So going forward from that, it really was the next step of responsibility on our part to make sure that language and culture and academics and athletics is centralized in this corridor of education. That's how we refer to it, as the corridor of education.
I know there's always some people that aren't real familiar with the Oneida Nation school systems, and I think they assume that they probably learn to just do the beadwork, like the beadwork that you're wearing today. And there's so much more when you understand how the culture and our traditions are built into a more modern curriculum, I think, than the normal schools have.
Oh, absolutely. And I have one event that I really want to make sure that I draw attention to, which is actually tonight. It's the Family STEAM Night. Tonight from 5 to 6:30 at the elementary school at the Turtle. And it's from FACE through 12th grade, demonstrations of STEAM. And that has reference to technology, and show the parents some of the things that we are doing today relative to learning about environmental challenges, like I mentioned global warming before, and looking at it from the perspective of all those pieces of challenge that we have to really get our arms around and provide an opportunity to make sure that as we look towards that learning piece. And so the theme is Harry Potter, the Family STEAM Night. And there's a small dinner with it as well, and then there'll be stations for people to go around, and there'll be different types of science learning that can go on, interactions, and it'll be for all grades. And really the focus is inviting our parents to come, because our parents need to learn how diverse their learning of their students are every day.
So these kids come in and attend Oneida Nation school systems. What if they move and let's say parents got a job in Milwaukee or something, and they moved out of this area. And the years that they've gone to school here, are they recognized by the state of Wisconsin when they go to another school?
Oh, absolutely. Good example is we have a very robust academic program that is reviewed by the NCAA for athletics, for example. There's 17 core credits that every student, if they're thinking of going to college and participate in athletics, for example, they have to have those 17 core credits that we instruct in our program. If they go to any other place, our credits are recognized as well, not only by the NCAA, but also by other learning institutions because of our accreditation. And with that being the foundation, the real opportunity is what happens when, say, like you mentioned, a student goes to California and they still want to learn language and they still want to learn culture. We find a way, because of the opportunity today of virtual study, is that we offer those opportunities for those students to acquire those credits as well, in conjunction and partnership with the language department and that works through the Oneida school system.
What year was the Oneida School established?
The Oneida schools were established in 1979.
Wow.
And from that point forward, and I guess the motivation for that was from our elders that said we need a place to teach our language and our culture. Those are the foundational pieces of identity. It's also the foundational pieces of really learning about who we are as a people. And so from that point forward, that's what started the school system. Bobby, I remember you being one of the instructors in the school system along with myself at the very beginning. And we've had a very colorful, I guess, journey of learning for our community as you look at that. Some of our elders that have shared their knowledge through the school system, and you look at it today and the growth that has happened, it really has been a very blessed experience for myself, being the principal of the high school.
Have you tracked some of those early students, the first years? Did any of them go beyond high school? Did any of them go to college or even further?
If you, we have on our website, and I'll make sure, I'll double check today that it's still there, but we did a video a while back about all of the accomplishments of the high school, our students. We have doctoral students that are teaching at UWGB today. We have students that are engineers that have come through. We have an aerospace student that several years ago is now working for a firm just around the aerospace industry. So when you look at that variation of opportunity and achievement, it kind of keys into what we're doing today, is that we have what we call a academy that we do in partnership with NWTC. We have called the Rising Phoenix program with UWGB as well. And between those two programs, a lot of our seniors in the second semester aren't even in our school, but they're at those universities, they're at the academy, and it provides them the opportunity for their head start into post-secondary. And those are just some of the examples of some of the things that we've been able to develop.
Now, they've accomplished a lot, and the school continues to look forward to being here for a long time, expanding the resources that our children will have as students and those that go beyond and come back. Do we have anybody who came back to teach here?
If I look at our current roster of instructors, I want to say about 33% of our staff are all students that graduated from our system. Wow. And are coming back to be language teachers, coming back to be math teachers, coming back to be science teachers. So we do have the most important piece of wealth and health of a community is when you have that opportunity to create that type of legacy. And I've seen it continue on. School counselors, for example, we have we just have a lot of variation of diversity of strength that comes from having our own people teach in our school system.
Well, that's a good cycle to begin, and to see our students that graduated here come back. I remember when I went to school, it was not a tribal school. I went to one of the 5 school districts here in this area, and I never seen another Oneida or even another tribal teacher in elementary school. Not even a teacher's aide, not even a cook. Absolutely no Oneidas were represented in the school system where I went, which was Seymour School System. High school, there was a Chippewa art teacher, and all the students just immediately gravitated towards this. His name was Mr. Loud. He was the art teacher at Seymour, and that was the only role model, the absolutely only role model growing up that I seen as a teacher through those years. So to see what we're doing, where we're headed, what's your vision for the next 10 years?
Well, I guess I want to make sure that I take the opportunity to shout out for the majority of our government today are coming right from our own learning system. And so when I look towards 10 years from now in the future, I guess some of the vision that I want to share is that opportunity that our language and our culture growth provides that stability and foundation for that continuance of good decisions and that responsibility to make sure that we strengthen our sovereignty. And as we do so, that cornerstone and the foundation of all that is our learning system. And we continue to enhance that and build upon that, and that gives the future great confidence, because it comes down to some real fundamentals. We have to continue to work towards clean air. We have to continue to work towards good earth to grow our foods. We have to have clean water, and with that becomes the health of Skana and Donoktunyo, is the finest of feelings for our families. Yawʌ̌kó comes from all those things we do together. And so 10 years from now, I really want to see 20 and 30 years from now that's our accomplishments that we continue to add to.
Well, I share that with you. What about, I think the last question I have for you is, do you think there's a new high school in our future?
I believe that it's not about is there, it's when. I think it's really the next step in the process of responsibility that we have. Because inherent sovereignty means that we have direction. Inherent responsibility means that we have to continue to be who we are. And that's that statement of Ladik Sasu, Ladik Yawʌ̌kó. So that learning system will continue to grow and be enhanced. Some of the things that we're doing today, as I mentioned, UWGB, College of Denomination, NWTC, that's an inevitable path to continue to build that strength of confidence in our young people. And so it's not a matter of whether we will, it's when.
Good answer. Appreciate that. All right. I have one announcement today, and that is there is something new happening at the Food Distribution Center. It's called Yawʌ̌kó Bingo. Bingo's been the lifeblood of the Oneida Nation. It established our economy here about almost 40 years ago, and now they're having it at Food Distribution. Check it out. You go in, it's between 1 and 2 tomorrow. There's some bingo games, and they've got some pretty nifty prizes that you can win. If you have questions about it, you can call 920-869-6108. Again, that's from 1 to 2 tomorrow at Food Distribution. And that is at N7372 Water Circle Place in Oneida, 54155, and it's just past the Oneida One Stop by the Oneida Water Tower. We did have another question, but I believe this viewer may be from the east. They're asking about students going through the Thames Valley or the Catholic School Board. So the Thames makes me think that perhaps that's a question out of our area. This is Oneida, Wisconsin, Oneida Live. So I don't see any other questions. Is there anything you would like to add that we didn't?
Just a real, I guess, a shout out to our parents. Tonight is also the girls' basketball game over at the Turtle. It's parents' night, it's senior night, and at the same time, at this very moment, one of our students, former students, is preparing to play one of their first home games for St. Bonaventure at Division I level of lacrosse. And we have a lot of students across Lawrence University all over playing lacrosse and participating in intercollegiate athletics. And again, that bodes well to the strength of opportunity that we created for our young people. And our community should feel very blessed that we have that type of stories to be able to share.
Sounds good. All right, with that, we're ready to say Nugiwa. Next on Thursday, we'll be back Thursday, and our guest will be from Oneida Behavioral Health. So we'll see you Thursday. Nugiwa.
Thank you all.